Go on, detective. What is there to say?
That may be, but she...
She wasn't...
And she came to you.
I told you, we are a family here. The girls come to...
When I saw her earlier, I must admit she was not looking...
No! Just leave the poor girl.
Merci, mademoiselle. Monsieur Sterling, is there anything you would like?
I'm not sure what you think I have done, Detective.
Let us not string out this charade and...
From his associate.
Do not worry yourself on such details now. I suppose they were lucky to have called when they did. Otherwise...
Aye, Detective. Oh, you found it. Thank you, Detective.
If I had lost a war medal, I would not stop until...
It's not what you think.
Exploiting a dead man's military achievement.
Nothing of the sort. He asked me to clean them up. I must... Whiskey?
You took a bottle of whiskey to the Major. You spoke...
Aye, of course. It was a bottle he picked up from his last visit to Scotland. Rather smoky number from the... Or was it... I wouldn't...
Your father was in the
He was.
And your family still keep...
They were sold.
And why would...
Is my family on...
Only you, monsieur.
Because we...
Voilà.
No. He keeps them safe.
Is that a typical job for the head butler?
He trusts me to do a good job. I told him I used to...
And where does he keep these items?
In the storage room. I know where everything is, so it's just... It's certainly better than my last.
You are paid a fitting wage for the work that it...
I'm sure the lady of the house would not want me discussing it. But
That is not the most convincing...
Between you and I, we all work very hard here.
Please don't go anywhere. Come, my little grey cells. Order and method. That... This will not get me any... I cannot see the logic in this. What a revelation! I must act on thought and fact. Is there some... Come, my little grey cells. Another success. I must take a different approach if I... Some would say a lucky guess. Order and method. I must take a different approach. I cannot see the logic in this. Things are beginning to... Come, my little grey cells. Magnifique. The pieces of the puzzle are... Is there something... I must act on thought and... This will not get me... I must take a different approach if I am to... I should not be surprised by my... The pieces of the puzzle are final... Order and method. That... Is there something... This will not get me any... What a revelation! I cannot see the logic in this. Come, my little grey cells. Things are beginning to... I should not be surprised by... I must act on thought and... Order and method. That... I must take a different approach if I am to uncover... Another success. This will not get me any... Come, my little grey cells. Is there some... Some would say a lucky guess. I must act on thought and... I cannot see the logic in this. I must act on thought... Magnifique. Monsieur Sterling,
Oh,
please. I eagerly await to hear what reason you give for...
a butler's job.
I am no fool, monsieur.
Honestly, Detective,
And with good reason.
I've been thinking about my time with the
I often think on fond memories, but
There are many memories held within these. I didn't realize the noise I was making.
obviously. Were you...
Of course not.
No, monsieur. You attempted to dupe me
Please, Detective. I know you know how it ended up in my possession. I was
Theft of a medal would be the very least of your
deceived. I'm sorry that I...
Would you care to explain the fake telephone?
Why would I fake a telephone?
The same reason that Mademoiselle Rihanna dressed in the Major's jacket in the snow. To allow not only the guests, but me...
I didn't kill him, Detective.
I know, monsieur. But I also know that...
It wasn't like... You never let on. How long have you...
Monsieur, I am Detective Hercule Poirot.
You will be taking her away.
She will stand trial for what she has done.
But you don't know the full story. She is just a son.
If Mademoiselle was only protecting herself, as you both have claimed,
The Major's military store,
the one that stored his medals,
amongst other things.
and those other...
I had to protect her. If you found it when searching...
Whatever it is you have hidden... I need a moment. Huh. Order and method. That... Is there something I am not... Some would say a lucky guess. I must take a different approach if I am to uncover... I cannot see the logic in it. The pieces of the puzzle are... Huh. 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 Mm-hmm. Ah. This will not get me in. Come, my little grey cell. Come, my little grey cells. What a revelation! This will not get me. I cannot see the logic in this. Is there something? Things are beginning to be. I must take a different approach. I must act on thought and. Another success.
There is no use. He always had his regiment.
And yet, it was not his.
My father's. It must have fallen out of my...
Monsieur, you have stashed evidence, manipulated a crime scene,
If it is my path to end up behind bars for what I have heard how you fought for that young maid.
Even the secret area that has been created here.
I couldn't just leave it.
The Major was killed by his own knife. The knife that protected his...
It was in his holster when he attacked her. He had hold of her arm. She didn't plan any of it, Detective.
That is what Mademoiselle told you?
She did, and I believe her. You think you knew?
That may be true, but that does not...
Put yourself in her shoes for a minute. If a man like that...
I need a moment. Order and method. That is... Magnifique. I should not be surprised by my...
There is no use. When you asked me yesterday,
That does not explain what...
when Lizzie took me to the study, the knife was still in the Major's chest, and
So you collected it under the cover of darkness.
after your questioning in the pantry,
And where did you plan on moving?
honestly, I don't know. There is no use. Why what?
Exact...
Because she is family. If you were in that pit,
I can assure you,
then perhaps that says something about you, Detective. I would do anything for her,
even if it means crossing...
without question. Aye, Detective, but please, you have...
If she is put behind bars,
Detective, you can't be so cruel.
It is not cruelty, monsieur. It is... This will not get me any closer. I cannot see the logic in... I must act on thought. Things are beginning... Another success. Order and method. That... Come, my little Grace. Is there something... Magnifique. I must take a different approach if... Is there some... This will not get me... Some would say a lucky get. The pieces of the puzzle of... I should not be surprised by...
Detective Poirot, I'm glad you're awake.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. It has certainly not been a night of...
Please, Detective, I'm not sure I can take any...
I'm afraid this may be the most upset...
You have found Felix's skeleton.
I have...
Detective, please...
It was mademoiselle...
You must be mistaken.
I assure you I am not. When you spoke of the telephone lines being out of order, it made me question...
But it hasn't been working all weekend.
Exactement, mademoiselle.
She was meant to be resting in the staff quarters. She has no...
I am afraid that was yet another lie.
Why would you think that?
I only managed a few words with her before we...
I must admit, he has a habit of speaking...
It was much more than merely disturbing our conversation. It was done with...
So, Elizabeth,
In its simplest form,
you have spoken with Elizabeth?
not Elizabeth, but Monsieur Sterling.
I wasn't.
It was Monsieur Sterling that I found in there. I was taken by some...
What on earth was...
He claimed he was merely...
You don't believe it?
It did not take long for me to uncover
Hidden area?
a room that held all of the Major's secrets.
I had no idea.
I did. Were you aware he was...
Dishonorably? What the... Yes, Gideon told me about the conversation.
Zachariah was adamant of the Major's cruelty during the war, but the extent was not known until...
Surely not. He would not do such a...
I am afraid not.
Oh, detective.
It is the reason he was discharged, denied his military pension, and I...
He had been such an important part of my life. In a sense, you said it was she.
It was her hand that held the knife, but he was quite...
In all of the years I have known her, she has barely even raised her...
The whole truth cannot be known.
Will you allow me to be present?
I think that is an excellent...
Please, detective.
I will offer Mademoiselle Elizabeth the...
Thank you.
Would you bring Mademoiselle Elizabeth to the...
Of course.
Mademoiselle Elizabeth, merci.
Miss Angeline said you requested to see me urgently.
We have some serious matters to discuss, and I would like to waste no further time.
Oh, yes, Detective. Still not quite myself.
I was surprised when Monsieur Sterling hurried you to assist Madame Vandenbosch last night.
I should not have avoided my duties for so long.
That is true, but you cannot be...
Honestly, have you been able to
The blackmailer's identity has been...
Wonderful news, Detective! You can put it
I would not say thrilled, knowing that...
Mademoiselle is correct. What I have learned over this weekend is that people are not always as they are...
And, what if...
Well, Mademoiselle,
I'm not quite sure what you want me to say.
your honest opinion is all I ask, and...
We only spoke when there was something in the house to be done. We did not speak of interests or pastimes.
You knew of his work with...
I only know what is required of me to know, and that...
But you were aware of his work as security at Monsieur de Silva's factory.
I was.
The factory your beloved Luc worked at.
Yes, Detective. Yes, that is where he spent his last moments.
The resulting riots were a terrible tragedy. One that I hope we will not have to see or experience again.
Nobody does... Detective, what kind of...
It is a straightforward...
He...
Mademoiselle, if there is something you...
I'm sorry, Detective, I just don't know how to answer it.
Let us consider what we know of the Major. He fronted the... You finally had someone to blame for Luc's death. Someone conveniently located in the same house, alone in his study.
No, Detective. It was...
Tell me what happened with the Major on the evening...
I was only in here trying to prove what I heard Mr. Beckers say. I was going to report him.
I want to. I am still trying to understand it all.
I was delivering Miss Angeline's dress to her room when I heard Mr. Beckers arguing with the Major. Mr. Beckers was talking about the factory strikes and how it was the Major's fault.
I cannot imagine the Major would have taken...
He didn't. He called him some rather uncouth names before Mr. Beckers left, and after the altercation between the Major and Master Gideon, you went to speak with him outside, and I thought I could look around his study without anyone knowing.
And did you find the...
I found a payment from Mr. De Silva, but there was nothing incriminating about that.
And then you saw the...
I recognised the writing on the envelope. I couldn't believe it. How...
Common sense would determine the Major was another victim.
If I'd have used common sense, I wouldn't... I heard the footsteps in the hall, and before I could move, the Major was standing in front of me, demanding to know why I was going through his belongings without permission. I tried to come up with an excuse, but nothing came out. And when he saw the letter in my hand, it was like Doctor... I tried to move around him towards the door, but he hurled something towards me and it crashed against the wall.
That would explain the damage to the wall.
I froze. I have never been so scared in all my life.
And you thought you would beat him too?
Oh, Detective, you make it sound as though I had it all planned. He lunged forward and grabbed me by the arm. I tried to push him away, but if only you had seen the look in his eyes. I saw the sheath on his belt. I didn't know what else...
So you took your opportunity to put an end...
I just wanted to get him off me. I didn't want to hurt him. I reached for it and I jabbed...
You did not even look to see what state you had left...
She had just been attacked, Detective.
Oui, please.
I ran down to the pantry looking for Rahana. I explained to her what had happened and she went... We went back to the study. Archie said that no one would believe me. That if someone like me killed someone like him, I would be sent straight to the gallows.
So I am to believe that it was Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna that cleaned the scene and orchestrated a plan that...
I swear, I had no idea that is what they had done. Archie...
Then Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna will be charged...
Please, Detective, they were...
If they wish to help you, they should have brought all of this to...
Surely you haven't forgotten what happened with Florette. She was only
It is a day I have not forgotten, mademoiselle.
Without your help, I don't stand a chance.
Oh, Elizabeth, why didn't...
I didn't think you would believe me. I felt so guilty. And when it was announced yesterday that he was a victim of the blackmail...
What a revel...
Oh, yeah. I don't know where it is.
If you have been honest with...
I'm sorry, I really don't know. Archie dropped it out of the study. Please!
Oui, mademoiselle. Mademoiselle tells quite the
I cannot imagine the Major acting in such a way. But Elizabeth...
After learning what I have about the Major's character this week, I know that you share a close bond with Mademoiselle Elizabeth.
She has committed a terrible crime, but...
If what she says of the Major's attack is true, she acted in self-defense. I will do everything I can to make sure her story is heard. Mademoiselle, it is...
Are you sure?
I can assure you.
Elizabeth was right, though.
Mademoiselle, when Detective Poirot... Would you ask the guests?
Of course.
I have told Monsieur Starling to remain in the staff corps. You have been of great help.
You only need to ask.
While I am speaking with the guests in the library...
You don't think she will try?
In her position, I do not know what she might try. But I trust with you there.
Detective, you have spent more time making us sit and wait for you than anything else.
Madame Van den Bosch, if you think I have spent my time focused on anything besides uncovering the Major's killer, you are sorely mistaken.
I'm sure you will be eager to share your findings with us then.
All in good time, Madame. Firstly, to understand the truth of what has occurred this weekend, one must know the timeline of events that not only preceded the Major's death, but succeeded.
We are all well aware of what happened before, Detective. You can save your breath.
You are only aware of what the guilty parties wanted you to believe. But now I shall apprise you to the true events. The reason for us all being here, you know. The altercation between Monsieur Demire and the Major, you know. The body of Monsieur Hagen was found while we were all sat enjoying a most delicious meal. That you also know. But what was kept from us all was that his body lay on the study floor for far longer than was thought.
It was that servant. She found him.
S'il te plaît, monsieur. It was indeed young Inga that found the Major's body lying lifeless in the study.
So it was her.
Monsieur, I will not allow for any further interruptions. I return to the Major's body. If we are to believe the scene that we were presented with, the Major must have been killed during the first course of our meal, a meal that none of you left, even for a moment. Speaking in the evening, you all confirmed one another's alibis, and although there was doubt in the validity of some, I confirmed that they were indeed all true. What I could not understand was how a man came to be found dead, and every guest accounted for at the time of death. That is until I questioned the latter. Monsieur Beckers, I shall now allow you to speak. You saw the Major smoking a cigar in the snow. Is that true?
It is.
False. You saw what you were meant to see. Someone in the Major's coat standing outside, giving the illusion that the Major was still very much alive. Monsieur da Silva, on the afternoon of the Major's death, do you recall hearing a telephone ring?
Now that you mention it, I have not heard a single ring all weekend.
Correct. The telephone lines have been down for the duration of our stay, meaning the telephone call that was received and promptly directed to the Major's study was yet another act of trickery and deceit. But it did not end there. When I entered the study for the first time, it was obvious someone had already been there and falsified the scene to stage a burglary and clear away important evidence, including the murder weapon. What followed was an investigation that had already been hindered. But even those lengths were not enough to derail me for long.
I think we have all had enough of your self-praise, Detective. Perhaps you would like to tell us who killed him now?
Madame, as I'm sure you would expect, it is not as simple as that. What many of you do not know is the discussion that was had between the Major and Monsieur Beckers earlier that day.
What has that got to do with anything? I told you I didn't kill him.
That I know to be true. What you do not know is that it was not only his ears that heard your spoken words.
I hope you are not implying I had something to do with it.
No, madame, there was another. Mademoiselle Elizabeth. You are all aware that the Major was hired by Monsieur da Silva to front the security during the workers' strikes. What very few of you know is that it was the Major's order that instigated the vicious attacks on those unarmed men and resulted in numerous deaths, including Mademoiselle Elizabeth's fiancé, Luc. Monsieur Beckers confronted the Major, declaring that he was to hand himself in. That is what Mademoiselle Elizabeth overheard. Now, knowing the truth, she waited until the Major was away from his study. After he stepped outside following the confrontation with Monsieur Demir's fist, it looked to be the perfect opportunity, or so she thought. The Major returned and found her looking for the proof she required to hand him over to the authorities.
If the maid bumped him off, why hasn't she been arrested?
The events that followed in the study are not those of a cold-blooded murder, but one of a young girl that had no other option but to protect her own life.
Sounds to me, Detective, like you have taken a shine to this young girl and would rather protest her innocence than arrest her for murder, the crime she has committed.
Jeez, this is gonna make for a juicy story.
Mademoiselle, I ask you this. You have seen the Major's anger before, oui?
What if I have?
How do you think he would have reacted if someone was to find proof that he had committed a terrible act, and that if made public, would surely result in his incarceration? Exactement.
It is quite the story you have told, Detective, but all I have heard is that Elizabeth overheard a conversation blaming the Major for her fiancé's death, and she murdered him in revenge. A servant killing a man that is as revered as he was. She will face the noose.
I am not denying that a man has lost his life, but it is not the crime of murder that you all believe. While the Major did not deserve to die in such a way, it was his actions towards Mademoiselle Elizabeth that drove her to defend herself in any way she could. Mademoiselle Elizabeth will be punished, but we will let the law decide the severity of her punishment.
She has played you like a fiddle, detective, acting the innocent victim. She will be arrested and hanged for her crime, like every other cold-blooded killer.
Here.
Give her what she deserves.
The girl has got to pay for what she's done.
Those of you that are calling for the hanging of Mademoiselle Elizabeth.
Look, Detective, I see where you are going with this, but it's not going to work.
Mademoiselle Conrad.
You don't need to imply it's only...
Even if in the process... You knew the situation surrounding the strikes. Mademoiselle, you saw...
You... You... Look, it's...
Mademoiselle, I do not have time for your excuses.
It's not... Okay, fine. Everything you said is true. I wanted the story. I didn't think you had this side in you. I can see now why Angeline asked for you personally.
We can't just forget what that girl has done. It's not Jackie's...
Monsieur Beckers, you are the lap... We talked only last night, and correct me if I...
Yes, we talked. It's just not fair of you to attack... Detective, I'm afraid you're misunderstood. It was not my intention for things to escalate as Jackie was documenting everything to do with the strikes.
And they were handled by your...
Naturally. No, it wasn't like...
This is not a tale that has been created. The facts I speak...
Nothing is... You called yourself a detective. You may try to discredit my...
You see it as an...
Word it however you want it.
All I wanted was the truth.
I hope you're not implying it was...
I am implying nothing. I am merely
This is outrageous! Do you plan... It may be a big deal to you, but I am used to work as no... When you're in charge of your own factory, you're If you think... You said it. Anonymous. I don't know them, and it doesn't sound like they...
Monsieur da Silva, you...
I recall... Do you really think this is the first time blame has fallen?
Have you not learnt enough already from having your factories closed?
I may have been a little harsh with my staff. I was never given the opportunity. I offered what I could. Swallowing one's pride is no...
Merci, monsieur, for your honesty.
What now? Even after all your attempts, Detective, Felix was still murdered.
It was not choice to hide anything, madame. If in her position, I ask what would...
I wouldn't have driven a knife into... He was a passionate man.
So, even you
I'm sure that is none of...
The Major shot and killed a number of unarmed prisoners. His actions are unforgivable.
You judge him so harshly. But he had made mistakes. I will not deny that. In those moments...
S'il te plaît, madame. I ask that you consider...
My friend has been murdered in cold blood, and you have the gall to ask me. I will see to it. Elizabeth will hang.
I knew that you had a cold heart, but never would I have expected to see you turn on a young girl so cruelly.
Excuse me?
She may have been the one that held the knife, but look at the monster that stood before her. He bribed, he extorted, he murdered. And yet...
I'm sorry, Margot, but I am...
Because that girl does not deserve your judgment.
Countess, I have talked at length. When I last gathered you all together, I spoke of a blackmail ring that was rife in the air. Mademoiselle Angeline requested my help personally after she received such a letter threatening her...
Get on with it, detective. Who dared try and extort my family and then have the gall to allow me...
If it was not for the honesty of a young son...
For goodness sake...
Margot.
While it looked as though the Countess was helping the young women at the shelter, she was in fact only finding them positions of employment. Monsieur da Silva fell victim to her network of moles and was in turn blackmailed. It was quite...
That cannot be true, Margot.
That is rich. Come in.
You are one of my oldest...
High and mighty, Madame van den Bosch. You think you can do what you wish when you wish it and there will be no repercussions.
If I do not get a straight answer out of you, I will march you to the police station myself.
I'm surprised it took the Major this long to start living with you. He must have been on the edge for some time.
How dare you speak to me like that? In my own home!
A home you share with the father of your daughter for so many years, and she still remains none the wiser.
You have no right!
Maman!
Angeline? Have you heard what she has admitted to? She is merely trying to make herself...
Is what she says true? Felix, he was my father? That is the secret that the letter was talking about, isn't it? You told me that we had nothing to hide. Detective Poirot, were you aware of this?
Oui, mademoiselle. But it was not my place to repeat.
I don't understand. What about father?
Your maman betrayed the love of a good, honest man and played away behind his back and then kept it hidden for all these years like a lady of the night with her client list.
You will say no more. Angeline, I...
Did Felix know?
This is not an appropriate conversation.
He knew, dear girl. He knew the whole time. It is only dear Edwin that was blind to their deceit.
You will not talk of him like that. You will not talk of him at all.
If I don't, who will? You never deserved him. You don't even deserve the memory of him.
Countess, there is something that you still have not explained.
What more is there for her to say?
How long were you in love with the Viscount for?
Margot? Is that true?
We were destined to be together. And then you turned up, and I was all but forgotten about.
But you were nothing more than friends.
And you made sure of that, didn't you? From the day you arrived, it was all about what you wanted and what you had to do to get it. You didn't consider Edwin at all. He was just a purse to you.
I loved my husband, and I miss him every day.
Loved him enough to stray?
Both of you, no more.
Please, Angeline, let me explain.
Maman, I do not wish to hear anything else from you.
Not even your own daughter wants to hear your lies anymore. Cassandra van den Bosch, all alone.
How dare you!
While I feel a sense of satisfaction and pride in solving both cases, there is still a part of me that is reluctant to revel in triumph. I am content with the unmasking of Comtesse de Vos as the blackmailer, and knowing that she will pay for her crimes. But it is the justice for Mademoiselle Elizabeth that worries me. She will stand in a court of law, and I can only hope that they can see she acted in self-defense. I must trust that our legal system and justice will prevail, and a fair sentencing will be given. In protecting her own life, she took the life of another. Perhaps the guilt she must live with is a greater punishment than any sentence she can receive. Comtesse de Vos was taken from Nemozinet House in cuffs and placed under arrest. Although she initially tried to plead her innocence, Inge, along with a number of other girls that the Comtesse had found employment for, came forward and made full statements. She was charged with 5 counts of blackmail and extortion and sent to a house of corrections, where she will have a new life to become accustomed to. Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna were also reprimanded for their participation. While they may not be facing time in prison, tampering with a crime scene and obstruction of a police investigation are certainly not something that houses and new employers will look positively on. Mademoiselle Angeline finally became Madame Demire, and together they took up residence in England, where Monsieur Demire continues to support and fight for fairness and equality in London. I am happy to say that we have remained in contact, and Madame Demire has become a regular correspondent of mine, and the latest joyous news is that they are expecting a child of their own. After Madame van den Bosch's secret was revealed to the world, her position in the social hierarchy was no more, disappearing in a moment. While she still resides in Belgium, I believe she has had to adapt to a far more modest way of life. A humbling experience for her, I am sure. Madame Demire has not mentioned her maman in a single letter. After the discovery of her real father and how she had been lied to for so many years, I am not surprised if her departure from Belgium was somewhat an act of separation from her maman. Mademoiselle Conrad left Nemozinet House the same way she entered, confident in herself and audacious in her opinions. Her report of the Major's murder at the house and the surrounding blackmails became one of the most talked about stories of the year. While there were certain details of her own involvement that did not make it to print, she was really quite complimentary about the detective at the heart of the case. Monsieur da Silva tried to continue in his position as factory owner and business entrepreneur, but after his accounts and business dealings were investigated following the details of his blackmail being made public in Mademoiselle Conrad's article, his illustrious business empire began to crumble and is now facing an international corporate investigation. Monsieur Becker stepped down from his position as union leader, accepting that he was no longer fit to represent the workforce that, in his words, he had let down on a scale of unmeasurable proportion. Although he is no longer the voice of the workers, he continues to support them from behind the scenes. Monsieur Zachariah and his brother made amends, and returning to his family home, and after sobering up, He was able to find the help that he required. I understand that he is now helping fellow soldiers with similar conditions. And Mademoiselle Elizabeth. She stood before a court and was found guilty of second-degree murder. She was sentenced to time in a female correctional house on the outskirts of the city. Alone in a foreign country with no friends or family for support, it will certainly be a hard life for her there. Her mental and physical strength will surely be tested to their limits, but she could not go unpunished. Without repercussions, we would become a society of animals. The death of Elizabeth's beloved Luc has been at the center of everything. Had those in positions to help not acted with only themselves in mind, perhaps he would still be alive today, and the Major would have paid the price for his own crimes in the eyes of the law, not at the blade of a knife. The blood of Major Felix Hagen will remain on Elizabeth's hands. A stain that wherever she is and whatever she may do, she will never be able to wash clean. However, it will remain as a reminder to not only her, but all of us, of what we as human beings are capable of to protect ourselves. We all have something that may be considered shameful or sinful, and it is how we deal with it that shows our true character. Those involved in the riots, the workers' deaths, and the Major's killing believed themselves to be untouchable. Whether it was from their social standing or their confidence in themselves, they learned that everyone is accountable for their actions. There is no exemption because of the suit you wear or the money in your bank account. There is no price to a man's life. It cannot be bought or traded or discarded. No man is better than another, including Detective Hercule Poirot.